Hello Gemini, welcome to your twin flame relationship energy balancing workshop. These for those of you who are not aware or who are new to my channel, this workshop has a complimentary worksheet that you can download on the link below. I'm going to put it on the description box, so all you have to do is just go to my website and you can download it for free and use it to start working with these readings. Also, I have a video explaining the nature of these readings. I'm going to link it on a card somewhere on the screen so that you can go to it and and watch it so that you can understand what I'm doing here. Also, this reading pertains to your ascendant. So this reading is for those of you who have your ascendant in Gemini. So let's dive right into it. And we're working with the zodiac wheel of the year. This is Western astrology. And if your ascendant is in Gemini, you have Aries on your 11th house, which means that the Spring Equinox is going to be affecting your 11th house. The Spring Equinox is the first event in the zodiac wheel of the year, and it's interesting because this event can be used, this astronomical event can be used for balancing. It's just like using the phases of the moon to help you manifest things. You can use the phases of the sun, or not necessarily phases because the sun doesn't really have phases, but the movement of the sun, the cycle of the sun around the earth, to help you work through different energies as it goes through the zodiac wheel of the year. And so in this instance we have the sun. We have that Aries initiates a new cycle of the sun, and that cycle is initiated with the vernal equinox or the spring equinox. And this energy, I don't know if I mentioned this a moment ago, but this energy is very good when you're trying to balance things out, because as we all know, or at least as most people know that pay attention to these things, the vernal equinox is that time of the year. Actually, the two equinoxes are that time of the year where both the hours of light and dark are equal during the day, and then as the sun progresses, the light hours either get longer or get shorter depending on what cycle of the year we find ourselves in. But this is a very interesting cycle. This is a very interesting opportunity, I should say, because from this moment on, the daylight hours are going to be getting longer, which means that if you want to manifest something, if you want to bring something into reality, into the 3D, this is the best time of the year for you to do a ritual or start practicing your manifestation techniques, because you can harness the power of the sun as it bathes the earth for longer with its energy, and use that energy to sort of like usher that manifestation into your reality. Anyways, going back to the zodiac wheel, so you have the equinox falling on your 11th house, and this is the natural house of Aquarius. So it is very well known as the house of friends, because Aquarius is a very gregarian sign, and so it is all about the world at large, the environment at large, all of the things that exist outside of us, that include others en masse, not necessarily intimate relationships with friends and families, but the way that you relate to your contemporaries, to maybe your generation, and so on and so forth. It is also the house of aspirations. So if you are trying to work to release something that is affecting your connection with your twin flame, and this is the release part of the reading, so this is the pertinent part to those of you who are already in a twin flame relationship, but that twin flame relationships is proven to be difficult to deal with, because maybe you recognize there are some patterns of behavior that keep coming up over and over again, and these are negative patterns of behavior. Obviously, well, might not be obvious to a lot of people who don't understand how twin flame relationships work, but for those of us who understand the dynamic of twin flame relationships, when we see patterns that happen like that, which are negative patterns that sort of like get in the way of you establishing a harmonious relationship with your twin flame, the first thing you're going to be looking at is what are the imbalances that are causing these patterns to repeat over and over again. And this is the problem, well, not the problem, but the main characteristic of twin flame relationships. If you bring something forth into the relationship, your twin flame is going to reflect that back to you. Because your twin flame is pretty much you. You both make up one soul, and you are both half of that soul. So you both reflect each other. And so if you bring an imbalance to the relationship, your twin flame is going to reflect that right back to you, and they're also going to bring an imbalance into the relationship. So you have to look internally. What are the things that I am contributing to this vicious cycle that is preventing me from creating harmony with my twin flame? And so having the equinox in your 11th house, which is the house of aspirations as well, tells me that maybe you need to balance. There's something about the things that you aspire to have in this relationship that you need to work on balancing. Or maybe you are not aspiring to the right things, or maybe you are not consciously aware of what your subconscious is asking you when it comes to the way in which you establish relationships. There is something about what you want to create. Maybe you don't feel that you deserve it. Maybe you are feeling somewhat caught in a negative loop in your head. But whatever it is definitely being projected into your twin flame relationship if you keep finding yourself in these negative cycles of maybe one of you being the runner and constantly running and coming back but running again. So if I look at this, I can see that there is not really an equal give or take. Somebody is holding back. And so this might be you. Most likely it is you, Gemini. And maybe you need to figure out what is it that you are afraid of really giving yourself fully. What is it that you're afraid of when it comes to being vulnerable in this relationship? And we're all always afraid of being vulnerable. But when it comes to twin flame relationships, that is a fear that you have to overcome rather quickly, because these relationships will undress your soul anyways, because your twin flame will be able to see through whatever masquerade you're putting up, or whatever mask, I should say, you're putting on, or whatever fronts you're putting on, because they can see right into your soul, because they are you. They know what you're thinking, they know what you're feeling, and likewise the reverse is also true. And so but you're holding back on something, or they are holding back on something, and you are giving a little too much. And so maybe if you want to help yourself get rid of the negative cycle, maybe you should channel the Aries energy. You channel the Mars energy that comes with this equinox into creating a new paradigm for the way in which you relate to your romantic relationships. Maybe you should start considering a more balanced way of giving. Maybe you need to consider not throwing yourself in too deeply, too fast, and labeling yourself, measuring yourself to give of yourself as much as the other person gives. And so having some equal measure. If, on the other hand, you're trying to manifest a twin flame relationship, because you're not in a twin flame relationship just yet. If we look at your 7th house, you have Sagittarius in the 7th house, and so that's very auspicious sign to have there, because the natural ruler in your chart will be Jupiter, and Jupiter can bring you a very good partner depending on how it is aspected in your chart. But we're not going to go too much into that right now. If you're trying to manifest, what are the things that you should be working on? What are the light sides that you should be working on to help you bring forth that twin flame relationship? You need to start trusting your inner processes, and you need to allow them to radiate out, okay? Because you have all of this fire energy influencing all of these aspects of your romantic life. And so what that tells me is that whatever desire that you have deeply ingrained in your mind, as far as it being in regards to your twin flame relationship that you might be yearning, you need to let that radiate out. You need to do mental exercises in order to let that radiate, and you'll need to find out how to work this concept out in a way that works for you. So in your worksheet, if you're trying to manifest, I will answer the question, and I would say radiate, okay, something along the lines of let desire for twin flame relationship radiate into the unknown, or something along those lines. And then throughout the weeks, you will go back and maybe meditate for an hour, I'm sorry, meditate for an hour about getting that thought or that desire radiate out of your aura, radiate out of your head, radiate out of the field that is you, into the environment around you in all directions. There are quite a few ways in which you can do that. I would suggest that you Google those kinds of meditations and work on it. And as you work on it every week, just write down during the week what sort of stuff is it that you're starting to notice in your daily life. Or maybe you notice that week, or maybe you notice that month. And as we continue through the wheel of the year, we're going to go through all of these things, and we're starting to make comparisons. Because you have a very strong fire energy that is going to help you find your way, is going to help you, give you the impetus to go out there and find it, whether it is psychologically or spiritually, or even metaphysically. If you are calling out your twin flame, working out on doing these exercises starting right now with the vernal equinox is probably a good time to start planting the seed, so that as we progress, you can start imbuing even more energy into that thought and make it grow into something tangible in the 3D. And this is pretty much the essence of manifestation, Gemini. But I'm gonna leave it here for right now, and I'm gonna wish you a lot of luck with these exercises. If you have any feedback, please don't hesitate to contact me. If you have any questions as to how to do these, comment on the discussion, the comment section below.